guys, this is Komal from Media House Insomnia, and we have a very handsome personality here with us. Handsome is not just because he has a good face, but he has done something very handsome by bringing this beautifully made and skillfully animated film, Char Sahebzadey, which is a part of our culture and it's in our blood, it's in our tradition. So without saying any more words, let's ask straight from Harman. Yes. How are you?
I'm very well, very well.
And welcome to Canada, first of all.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Harman, let's talk about the movie that you brought in. It's absolutely amazing to see these kind of efforts. What transpired you and your dad to come up with a film like this, whereas there's so much commercialization going on everywhere?
Yeah, I don't know. I think for every individual, life is a full cycle, and for my father, I think he came from Punjab. I was actually born there myself, and I think he's been in Bombay now for probably close to 30 years. And in those 30 years, obviously, he's worked his way up. When we came to Bombay, we were.
A lot of movies he has released.
Yeah, I mean, when he came to Bombay, he practically started with nothing. I remember till almost the age of 16, 17, me and my sister used to pretty much sleep in our kitchen bunker beds, and that's how we grew up. And then I think God has been kind. He's worked hard. It's a combination of everything.
Yes.
And I have a room to myself now, which kind of makes life a bit easier. I think this was his way of paying back, I think, for what he believes, in. And I think hence we decided to make Char Sahebzadey. Honestly, this film is not, as you rightly pointed out, in this world of commercialization and everything. This isn't really a film that we ever looked at from a commercial standpoint, because the minute my father, this was a dinner table conversation, but the minute my father actually told me that he wants to go ahead and make this film, from the onset, we knew that, okay, this is not going to be one of those ventures where you're going to sit down and say, we're going to put in X amount of money, we're going to expect X plus, 20%, and what's going to be the ROI, and blah, blah, blah. It was pretty clear about the fact that this film is something we're just going to make from the heart.
Yes.
It's something we believe in, and we're just going to go for it all out. And I think
to live up to the traditions.
And I think that's pretty much what we did.
Especially for children over here who were born and raised here, they have no clues. They just listen to all the stories that we tell them. But when it's enacted on the screen, it does give a lot more message. That
it has probably longer lasting impressions. I mean, I've heard the story of Char Sahebzadeh from my grandmothers, and I've heard it from my mothers, my bhuas, my chachis, my masis. There's so much out there, but then again, there's only that much that I've heard, and there's only that much that I will retain. But even when we started making this film, the whole thought was that can we actually justify a feature-length film with this story?
Right.
And you'll be amazed after going through all the books of history. Just to let you know, my film office.
You do all that research.
My film office now looks like a library because they have so many books. It's like a mini Sikh museum because you have so many books and references and stuff all over the place. And I think after going through everything, you realize there's so much material there. There is so much more than what we can just hear in a story from a Dadi and a Nani. So
yeah, definitely. And that's how you can do justification to when it comes to making a movie. You just can't rely on one source or few sources. You have to really get into research first.
Every detail possible.
Every detail. All right, my second question would be actually, when I was looking at the trailer, it says with the support of SGPC.
Absolutely.
How does, what role does SGPC play in it, and how do they support you?
Well, so I think, 5 years back when we decided to make this film, obviously one of the first things is with any story that is based, around a religion, you have to make sure that the custodians of the religion, the people who matter, the one who sort of take care of the religion, for whom religion is a way of life. I think you need to make sure that you, in no way do you unintentionally offend anyone, or you end up doing something or saying something which may not be correct. So we had to go to SGPC first to take prior permission to make a film like this. And from that point on till this point, till you and me speak, SGPC has been a part of this film. Be it from locking down what the story, what the dialogues, the screenplay, to the look and feel, because there is no real reference of any of the Char Sahebzadeh. So we had to literally create them from little words of history that we found. So in terms of the appearance, to the armor that they're wearing, to the kirpan, everything had to be taken permission of from SGPC. So it was a back and
So
forth.
you had a member from SGPC.
We had a whole
working
committee.
all the time.
We had a whole committee of people who would sit down for every detail, every meeting. That process alone took us about a year to finally get the sanction to make the film.
But while you're making it, besides sanction, that's done. But when you're making it, there are certain things which do not, they fall apart sometimes. You have to redo them.
Correct.
And then do you have to have somebody from there?
Absolutely.
It's important, I know. It becomes difficult sometimes.
If you ever get an opportunity to go to the Amritsar airport, which is your hometown from what I
Yes,
recall.
yes.
If you ever get a chance to go to the Amritsar airport, yes, and you'll walk out the airport with either me or my father, more with my father actually. You'll actually feel like he's probably worked at the airport for a couple of years, because he walks out saying hi to the porters, to the check-in counters, to people at the security gate, because he knows everyone there. That's the amount of trips.
Popular people are from Amritsar.
That's the amount of trips he's taken up and down. He's literally got this, I think, triple VIP pass to get in and out of Amritsar, because he's there practically once every 2 weeks.
Oh, even now?
Now, of course, film is released, now I don't think we need to.
During the making of that, for sure. Again, in terms of monetary payback, of course, it takes a lot of money and effort, and this era of, determining the film, the success in 100 crores, 300, 400, first week, second week. Obviously, this is a totally different concept.
I think to determine the success of this film, it would be to let it reach 100 crore hearts.
Exactly.
And I think once we reach there, the numbers won't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like your answer. I like your answer. आपका जवाब बिल्कुल सही है.
I think I'll get a gift hamper now.
I get you one. How does your film, which is more like historical, it happened hundreds of years ago. How would we, when we take our kids to watch that movie, how do we make them connect to it? Because we can't tell them these days that a man is flying in the air with a mountain in his hands, and sawa lakh se ek ladaun. But how can one person fight 125,000 people? It's not right.
Correct. Well, I think when we talk about a man flying in the air and holding a mountain, obviously we're talking about Hanumanji, and as much all respect to all religions, naturally.
Right. No, I'm not.
I know. You don't mean offense.
It's very difficult to.
I think I'll talk about Char Sahebzadey. When we say sawa lakh se ek ladaun tabe Govind Singh naam kahaun, it's metaphorical.
Yes.
It's obviously not literal. And when we say metaphorical, it purely means the strength of the mind, and the self belief that you have. It's how we. I think when you say you want to relate it to today's day and age, I think if we see the story of Char Sahebzadey, these were 4 boys of obviously Guru Sahib's Char Sahebzadey. Right. They were between the ages of 5 and 18. That's the age group. Baba Ajit Singh Ji was 18 and the youngest one was 5. And at that age, they were actually fighting for justice and fighting for rights for somebody else, not even for themselves. The Sikh community, when it was formed, the Sikh Panth, so to speak, never really fought for themselves. They actually fought for other people. Which is what we call today, this is what we call human rights. So when you and me stand up for human rights, when there is something going on in some other part of the world, and we stand up and we stand up and talk about it today, saying that hey, it's not fair what's happening in, let's say, in the middle of Middle East, or what's happening in Africa, what's happening in East Asia, it's human rights. It's what started with Sikhism 300 years back.
Wow.
And you had these 4 boys who were barely till the age of 18, where most of us are busy downloading games on our iPads, and they were being martyred for somebody else's right. So I think to connect it to today's kids, it's only about standing up for something that you believe in,
and character building.
And completely building up your character building, standing up with your conscience, your inner voice, which all of us have.
Yes,
every Granth in the world, whether it's the Quran, whether it's the Holy Bible, or the Guru Granth Sahib, or Bhagavad Gita, everyone talks about having God within ourselves. And I think what the reference from what I take back from that is that there is the inner voice, which we all have. And unfortunately, there are times for our own advantages, we discard that inner voice.
Discard it and then we take other paths.
Correct. And if we actually start listening to that inner voice, that's pretty much what every Granth in the world is trying to preach.
Right.
Which is what, in a way, is the story all about, because they actually heard their inner voice and felt there's injustice, and they need to stand up for it.
Exactly.
Selflessly.
Definitely. Thank you so much for giving such just lovely answers. I'm so impressed from you.
Well, it's been 5 years of work. If I don't even take...
I can tell that you've been into 5 years. It's like a baby. Filmmaking, I think, is like a baby.
Yes.
You start from where it's embryonic stage, and then...
Absolutely.
And then finally you have the product there, and then how often are you going to do this? Like,
we're all exhausted if you ask us. I mean, if you actually throw us all for a holiday right now and send us to the most beautiful place on earth, I think we'd probably just sleep for a week. Or we just wake up after that and say, chalo theek hai, no worries, we missed out. Because I think we put in a lot of effort, and my only my desire, my wish is that I hope that as many people can watch this film.
For sure.
And spread the message.
Well, that's why we are here for.
Yes.
We are going to spread the message.
We're blessed that we got an opportunity to make a film like this.
Yes, of course, and we are blessed to see it. Actually, we are going to take all our kids and of course spread the word everywhere, whichever possible way we can.
Please do that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Thank you.
All right. See you.